Good morning. This is Bill with Bill's Never Ending Projects, and I didn't know this Y125. That's right here. I didn't know this Y125 that I own was a two-stroke. Even I probably knew it when I used it, but we bought it in 2016. Now 2023. End of July, and I just found out, so I got 4 of them that I could work on. I got the I got the 121R700. It's really 2004, and the 121R700 2004. I got the 121R900 2005. The parts machine don't count anymore. And I'm gonna call this one number 4 then. Because well, it's 2016 and it's another yard machines. It's just they didn't put the motor way up in the middle. Like so. Or like so. With that longer drive shaft, they put it right down on the base. And it is a two-stroke. And still the 1, 2, 3, the 5th digit tells you the year, plus if you stand in front and then go around to this side, that has that sticker there, whatever it is. Find my finger and I'll find it. There it is. That has the J code on it. It's right of the gas tank. And to find what model you have, you come around to the other side of the gas tank. And there it is. That tells you the model on that one. And mine is Y125. The only weird thing is, when you look it up, the real number for a 125 is 21AK125G800. So they stole that 125 out of the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th digits of the real model number. So enough about that. I think the retail price was somewhere around, some people might have sold it for, I don't know, maybe $229. Somebody else sold it for $199. But enough about the machine. This is, there is one thing. This is not a 31cc, it's a 25cc. And obviously the difference from those other ones. The other ones have a carburetor. There's nothing to pump on it. This one, there it is. It's right on the carb. And since the last one, I've learned more. I found out these aren't primers. These are purge. What they do is, at least on the other 3, they when you push in, it blows into the tank, and when you let it out, it sucks gas back to the carb. One line takes it from the carb into the tank, and the other one brings it back from the tank to the carb. So what it's doing is getting the air out of the lines. They call it purging. I always thought it was a primer, to prime it with gas. But this has a choke. These have a choke, so when you have a choke, there's no need for a primer. These, well, you could still have one, but this has a choke, so purging to make sure you got gas in the lines and not air when you're going to start it. because obviously to start those other two, you got to lay it down. This one actually has it where I can pull straight up. So they finally fixed that where you have to lay it down to start it, and you can't reach the throttle. Now with the old ones, the purge thing has a longer one and a shorter one. The longer one goes to the tank and blows back into the tank. The shorter one goes to the carb and sucks from the carb. So let me check to make sure I said that right. Yes, so the short one will suck from the tank or the carb. It makes a circuit, goes around. So it makes a complete circuit. So when the short one sucks from the carb body, carb body, it goes through here, and then the long one blows back into the tank. And this one has nothing to do with, so this one sucks from the carb body, goes through here, and this one blows back into the tank. Then when you release the bulb, so that's what happens when you push down the bulb. When you release the bulb, it's going to suck, which will pull gas towards the carb, probably from the main line that goes to the tank, and that way you got no air in the lines. This ain't exactly correct. It's pretty correct. Anyway, I'm stating that it doesn't prime. It only gets the air out of the lines. And when you're hooking up these older tillers, the long one goes to the tank. The short one goes to the carburetor body of it coming out, not the one that fills the jet for the needle valve. It's the one coming out. It's not the main line. So now we look at this. We look at this carb, and it's got the bulb on it. So now I got to start thinking all over again. I got these two screws out. They're supposed to have. Seems like you have to turn them forever. Okay, they're out this time. So you just got to remember the choke thing faces the front of the tiller. So I'll just set it down just that way. And I can easily unhook the throttle from the whatever shape that is, Z or a J. But this one's different taking it off, because the lines aren't broke. So what I want to do is take this apart and see if the diaphragm is hard and the needle's stuck. So I'm going to look at this other carb that I did take apart. Right now I can't even think of which side. I think it's the side with all four that has the diaphragm. So that's the side I'm going to remove first. And I see one gas line I could unhook real easy. I'm going to look to see I'm going to try to push on this and see which one blows into the tank. There is no long and short one. They're both the same size. So you're going to have to figure out for yourself by pushing in and see which one blows into the tank. And then one's going to suck back. Is this still a purge system? I don't know. I don't know if I touched these before or not. If I didn't touch these, I could just go by the way they are. The one on the right's going to the top, the one on the bottom's going to the inside. And I'll write that down, and I'll hope I haven't touched it. So next time I come back, I'm going to have these screws out. I'm going to have the diaphragm off, and I'm going to check to see if the needle's stuck. I mean, I'm going to take the screw out, and if the needle still stays stuck there once the screw's out, it would be stuck. Here's what I wrote down on my pad. I put top hose closest to the primer bulb goes to the outside of the gas tank. The outside, near the gas cap. The outside. The bottom hose, furthest away from the primer bulb, and further down on the carb, goes to the inside. Goes to the inside of the gas tank, closer to the block. So that's it, top to the outside, bottom to the inside. So now I can pull those off and pull the carb. This big O number 2, sure it's a number 2, Phillips actually worked. Sure it'd be better to have a smaller one, they might call those number 1, but it worked. I'll get all 4 of these. This carb, I think it came on it, I don't remember ever changing one. It says RUI, then has a insignia pattern, and this is ING. Could be a place in China. The other one said China. I moved a little further out in the sun here. That better, even though I'll get hotter, because I got an overhang on the garage, and it keeps shade out about 6-8 feet. So even though I'm way outside of the garage, I get shade. So I moved out to get into the light line. Okay, so I got the 4 screws, got the cover. I got this thing still sitting just the way it'll go back on. And I got the cover off, so now I'm gonna have to get a knife and then get this diaphragm carefully off there. Looks in good shape. I use this razor knife here to closely. I see there's one spot that razor comes up in there. I don't know if that hole's supposed to be there, but I carefully loosened one side. Now I'm going to carefully start pulling it back. Oh, it's not coming off there like I want it to. I guess I got past that spot. soft. I know this center thing here pushes on the part that, well, now that we can see it, I can show you what it pushes on. It pushes on this little piece. So now I can see if the needle's stuck, unless I have to take it. Well, I'll take that screw out, and then we'll see if the needle falls out of there. If it does, then it's not stuck. Well, Phillips fits good. I would use a number 2. Everything fit really secure on those other screws. Got to push hard. Here, click. Okay, it's coming up, and there's the spring. That will get lost. So I'm going to keep it down in the pan. Finish getting the screw out of there. Come on. Oh, I guess it came out. Oh, magnetic screwdriver. It's stuck to the screwdriver. Okay, so the screw pushes down on that rod. That's what keeps that whole little assembly in there. When I pull it out, I'll hold up the assembly, but it's that screw pushes down on that rod. There is no holes for this float-like rod to go through. I hate to let it up because then I got to put it back in again, but if I'm going to check the cleanliness of the carb, okay, I let the spring up. It's still there. My needle fell out of the holder.
Not needle.
So this is the little holder. It's like a T.
It's a diaphragm carburetor, so there's no float.
It's like a T. You're seeing the top part of the T, and this part goes around the needle. This part here goes around the needle. You can see the cutaway, and the other end's the little rod, the little flat part of metal that sticks out for that diaphragm hump in the middle of the diaphragm there to hit. So let's put that down and that down. And now let's look for that spring before it gets lost. There it is. It's sitting right there. It's the same size. It's the same size as probably a spring in a ballpoint pen. So that's where you want it to sit when you're going to put that back in. Now we're going to see if the needle's stuck. I'm going to take the spring out so we don't lose it. Set it here by the screw that clamps the rod down. Now I'm going to tip it upside down, and we're going to see if the needle falls out. Listen for a clank. Nope, it's stuck. Okay, so we're going to get my little screwdriver under it. Yeah, it's supposed to fall down. There seems to be a gasket on here that was under the diaphragm that goes all the way around. Seems like the gasket would have to come off, but I don't want to take it off, so I don't have one. So I'm going to I want to get the float out to use my carb cleaner. I mean, I want to get the needle out.
A diaphragm system uses no float.
Yeah, I can just dent it back enough.
But
I did, so. Let me get a needle and ice now and see if I can get it out of there. The rest is just going to be all clean. But you don't want to keep carrying this around and forgetting about that. You got to get it out of there. You're going to lose it. Nope, that won't fit. It's just about coming past there. I just don't want to. Bending the gasket a little is one thing. There. I got it. It has nothing to do with the needle nose. Okay, so now since this sticks, I gotta get carb cleaner on here and in that little recessed area where it was, and I'm gonna shoot some in some of the holes. On this one, the Jets has got I think a plastic cover over the high and the low. So if I wanted to, I could break through that so you could adjust it and then take these out and make sure I shoot a little carburetor through them, cleaner through them. But if it don't work, then maybe I'll take it back apart and do that. I'm just loosening up this needle and see it. Maybe it'll work just from doing that. I'm going to do the cleaning. Okay, I cleaned out the needle seat thing hole and the needle until it would fall back and forth without sticking. I put the cross thing back in, got it to hook to the needle, and now I put the screw in my magnetic screwdriver end so I could just use one hand, and I'm tightening this down on that shaft. Let me back it up to make sure it's in there where it's going to push on it correctly. Yeah, I see it overlapping it. Because when I let go, I don't want to be surprised with. Use my magnifying glass here and yeah, it goes up and down. It doesn't overlap that thing much. And I should find probably number 1 to tighten this up with. No, I got it with a number 2. It goes, you can just feel it stop. Okay, now that I know the needle's not stuck anymore, I'm going to go ahead and put this back on. I know the metal has to go facing down because it has to push on that little arm. So with that in mind, let me look up in the sun to make sure this diaphragm doesn't have a bunch of holes in it. Nah, I don't see any. I guess if there was pinholes in it, it wouldn't work, but I don't think there are. So I'm going to get that lined up. Get this cover back on. I don't think it matters which way it goes. Oh, it does got one little. It's got 2 little holes. Darn it. Now I got to figure out what those are for.
I end up just taking a guess. It works. Whichever way you put it, I think. But
I'm just gonna put the cover on so you could actually read what it says on there, the way the carburetor goes, which I think would be towards the top.
Had to pick one way or another.
Okay, they all look like they'll go in, so I'm gonna just push pause till I get it back on the machine. Okay, I didn't put the air cleaner on yet, but I put it back on the ground. This is what I use to spray out that stuff. It just says CARB choke parts cleaner. I don't use brake cleaner. I use carb cleaner for carbs, brake cleaner for brakes. So anyway, I pushed this thing down and I seen gas going. It pushes into the tank when I push down, and I would think it sucks back because the supply turned out to be the inside hose, because you could take the cap off. You could take the cap off and you can see that inside hose go way down in there. So the top one turned out to be the short one that just goes back into the tank so it can blow back in. This is some old gas that's in here. I probably should be dumping this out, but with all primed, let's go. Let's see if it was just the needle was.
Well, the supply would have the filter.
I haven't run this in 2 or 3 years. I probably put gas in it last year to try it. I did probably even the previous year. So it's probably only a year-old gas, but. And then now I got to think about that choke thing. Oh, I got it on choke. I'm going to take it off choke and put it on the center one. Because I just pulled it on choke a few times. Running. Wow. Let me go running. Okay, so I can fill it up with some fresh gas. I gotta go out there with the weed eater to cut all these tall weeds down, and then I can knock the roots out with these. So I guess I'll put the gas tank repairs on these other 3 later on then, because I need to get this done. So that was the video on the 2016 on the 2016 Yard Machines Y125 2-stroke. Okay, that's the end. Bye.